It's hard not to be red down there in that state. You know what? We heard the story the other day, right, about Gronk, and Gronk was telling the story about, oh, he's in New England shape. He's not in Florida shape. That's real. Florida, that heat, getting used to that sun, there is something to that, and it can be exhausting. So he might be permanently red from here on out.
Okay, so the idea, to get to actually, the substance of the comments instead of the fact that Bruce Arians is the same color as his hat and his sweatshirt, this whole calling out Tom Brady, we saw it from week one when Brady had multiple interceptions against the Saints, and Bruce Arians wasn't afraid to say so after the game and the next day, which throws were Brady's fault. And it was jarring to us because that's something that Bill Belichick never does publicly.
Right.
He'll rip you in the film room.
Right.
He's not going to rip you publicly. He was all about protecting his guys. And I'm just being honest, is the ultimate passive-aggressive license to insult someone. Whatever. Like when you say to me, you look tired. I'm just being honest. Yeah, you're also being a butthole.
Yes.
I mean, there is an element of overt insult in telling someone the truth. There's a whole Seinfeld episode devoted to telling someone the truth. I'm just telling you the truth. You're ugly. What do you do? Well, how do you? There's discretion, there's tact, there's diplomacy, and Bruce Arians has never been that way, and it worked. That's the thing. We thought it would make Tom Brady upset. To Brady's credit, he didn't get his nose bent out of joint over it, Chris. He just dealt with it.
No, definitely. Brady did know what he was signing up for, I'm sure. Bruce Arians is famous for his ability to relate to quarterbacks and be their buddies and just relate to players in general. His communication and the way he is there, that's what some of the things you always hear about first with Bruce Arians, and then, of course, his offensive genius and all that. So, he's got a great way of, telling you did something bad and doing that, but getting his arm around you and doing that as well. And also within it, I do think he showed like, hey, we're not just going to bow to Brady. It's not just we're a team and we're all getting better. And we're not just going to be like, oh, he didn't do good, so we're going to change the way we play just so he can do good, even though the team might not actually benefit from that. And that's where I give him credit. And to me, that's where him and Leftwich were special this year, as far as they kept pushing him. Hey, stand in the pocket, throw the deep balls down the field. And in New England, I felt like they kind of wanted him to do that and were trying to force that, but then they might have not been happy with the results, and they were just like, oh, let's get back to all our short throws. He can do that and do it. And I think Tampa was like, well, we're out. We don't have any more short throws. This is it. This is not our offense. So here, you can have those few ones, but really you're going to have to change to us. And I think that Brady didn't have that wiggle room, and the fact that they stayed steadfast on that really helped their team to get here where they are now.
And ultimately what Bruce Arians does, because, the way you were explaining it, as you were saying it, I'm thinking, I don't believe Bruce Arians really engages in that level of analysis. He just is who he is.
Yeah.
I think that's the right way to say it. It's not I'm just being honest. It's I'm being authentic. This is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you if you screw up. That's how I'm going to coach you. I'm not going to mince words publicly. If you make a mistake, you're going to hear about it through a press conference. And, hey, don't make the mistake, and you won't hear about it. But he's always been true to himself, and that is admirable in and of itself. There are too many people in this world who aren't true to who they are. And Bruce Arians has had a fantastic journey. People always say, what do you root for? I root for a great story. And Bruce Arians is a great story. They did a Football Life on him. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Go watch it. Not right now, though. Keep watching us. You can watch it later. But, a guy who became a coach, head coach, after he was retired by the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers fired him, but called it a retirement. He lands in Indianapolis with Chuck Pagano after he was involuntarily retired by the Steelers, becomes coach of the year that season because Pagano missed a lot of time as he fought leukemia, and then Arians gets his reward. He becomes coach of the Cardinals. He's there 5 years, retires again, doesn't like it. This time he did retire, didn't like TV, wanted to coach again, and look what he's fallen into. It's incredible. This is a guy who was done twice, once because he wanted to be and once because he didn't want to be, and now he's stepped into a Super Bowl team. It's incredible. It's an incredible capper on a great coaching story, Chris.
It is. It's like hard not to root for him. You almost feel like a little bit like Andy Reid last year, where you just go and, man, I want to root for him because of all the great things he's done, the way he treats people. It's just all top notch, and that's the same thing with Bruce Arians. That's why they are easy to root for that aspect, and he does deserve a lot of credit. He really does. I mean, not easy to mold this many personalities, make the move they made from Jameis Winston to Tom Brady, having to deal and bridge that gap and all of those things. Just a phenomenal job, really. The staff he acquired there, really good. Him, Jason Light, who we probably haven't talked about as a really quality, awesome GM, and the team he's built here, and giving him enough credit. There's a lot of good to talk about there in Tampa, but very happy that Bruce Arians is getting his due justice here.
I wrote something about Light over the weekend. It dawned on me, wait a minute, he's the one that put together this team that was sufficiently attractive to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
When you look at the receivers that he's drafted, when you look at the defense they've put together.
Definitely.
Levante David is one of the few guys that Jason Light inherited in 2014.
But
and you can say, well, yeah, he drafted Jameis Winston. Well, it's not like Marcus Mariota became Peyton Manning, and they weren't adamant about sticking with Jameis Winston. If Bruce Arians doesn't want him, Light's going to move on from him. The Roberto Aguayo thing, that's a black mark on the resume. Well, every GM's got a black mark on his resume. Look at the team that they have right now.
Right.
The skill position players they have right now. The willingness to go for it. Antonio Brown's available, right? The Packers maybe made a phone call. The Buccaneers went for it. Leonard Fournette's available.
Right.
The Buccaneers went for it, right? And I know that isn't the ideal way to build a team that's going to contend for 10 years, but you can build a team that's going to contend for 10 years and never get to a Super Bowl. Or you can go for it and get to a Super Bowl. And that's what Jason Light has done. And, if you convince Brady to stick around for a few more years, they're going to be in the conversation, I think, for as long as Brady's there, Chris.
No doubt. I mean, they've built. We talked about it all year. Again, I'm not trying to pat each other on the back here, but it is one of the most talented teams in football. It is really impressive. I watched Cam Jordan last night on TV go, they put up the weapons of the Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because he played both teams this year, and he went, no, I think the Bucs have better weapons than the Chiefs. So that just says a lot, let alone, Vita Vea, JPP free agent signing. Shaquille Barrett, value free agent signing. What? He leads the NFL in sacks his first year there? The Donovan Smith draft pick. Tristan Wirfs, people weren't sure about him at the tackle position. Killed it. Was probably the best rookie tackle in the draft from last year as far as how he played. So Jason Light, I got a lot of respect for him. I really do. I worked with him a little in New England. I'm not shocked to see him here where he is now. I don't think he likes me anymore because when I used to do the draft live at Bleacher Report, when he drafted Robert Aguayo in the second round, I gave it a K for my grade. It was worse than an F. I gave it a K for kicker because I don't grade kickers, and I feel like he hasn't talked to me since, but I don't care. Still, awesome job by him.
Well, maybe you've redeemed yourself today by giving him some praise. Some real, authentic praise, not phony, not fake at all. And that's what we have in common with Bruce Arians, because I think back over the year, we've called Bruce out for calling out Tom Brady.
Right.
I don't think he'd have a problem with it. I don't think he has a problem with people being who they are, because that's who he's been, and everyone. Just be who you are.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.